Hello and welcome to the next movie lesson for film studies. Well, we're going to be doing editing today, and we're going to also be talking and introducing the movie Casablanca, the final film of our golden era of Hollywood. So let's get to the lesson: editing. The film is not shot, but it's built. Boggs and Petrie said that in their book there that we use for the basis of this class. They don't shoot movies in order. I mean, rarely do they do that. They have to shoot it, and they take multiple takes, and then they piece together which is the best one, and they edit for pacing, for emotional content, for a variety of reasons. Editing guides our thoughts, our associations, our emotional responses from one image to another. It should be smooth, it should be natural and unobtrusive. Sometimes it's tricky though and self-conscious. Sometimes it will be obtrusive for a lasting effect or an emotion. There are transitions, just like when you were probably in sixth grade and did your first presentation, I don't know, using Google Slides or something like that. You did wipes and flip frames and fade ins and fades outs, and you could see all the cool stuff you could do. They did that with movies too for a long time. Never mind that your presentation was trash because you just spent all your time doing all the transitions and animations. You didn't put any effort into it. But hey, it looked cool. Most film editors no longer use these. The exception, of course, is George Lucas and the Star Wars series. I love them. So there's form cut, and I have a short video to show you all these, which is the shape of an object is matched to the similarly shaped object in the next scene. The opening of Indiana Jones, the original Raiders of the Lost Ark, you have the Paramount logo with the mountain, and then the form cut shows an actual mountain, then it pans down to the jungle where Indiana Jones is hunting for a treasure. You have time control where you can do a jump cut. You have parallel cuts to show two scenes of action back and forth. You have slow motion. You have freeze frame, which is the end of the famous movie Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. You have the thawed frame where it's frozen, but then it comes alive, which is kind of a theater trick. And then stills, pictures shot with camera movement, which is often called the Ken Burns effect. There's editing for cutting and transitions to set the pace of the film. There's the creative juxtaposition, which is the fancy way to say montage, which if you've ever watched Rocky 3 and Rocky 4 especially, that's essentially two fights and a bunch of montages. And need a montage, to quote South Park. A lot of workout videos set to cool music and 80s rock and roll and Eye of the Tiger and all that. Yeah, lifting people in a barrel or a wagon and running up a hill. There's ironic montages. The most famous, of course, is The Godfather, the final scene, in which Michael's at the baptism of his godson, and meanwhile his henchmen are doing some bad stuff. So you have a guy in church, and then you have murder. So it's an ironic montage. You have mise en scène, and I'm not sure if I said it right, which emphasizes the content from a single frame, which is the opposite of a montage where it kind of pans around and you kind of see everything. This is a video by Ross Holmes. Really good video here. I'm going to show you about editing in different forms, and it shows a lot of really good examples. So thank you, Ross Holmes, for this, helping out with our movie class.
Hi, this is my introduction to film cuts and transitions. In this video, I'll be going over types of cuts and transitions which you can use when making your homemade films. Cutting on action. This is a simple of cuts. This is simply cutting from one shot to another whilst the subject is still in motion. This isn't limited to just fighting. Any form of movement counts as action and can be cut. Cutaway. Another simple cut. This is cutting to an insert shot of something, then back to the previous shot. This is usually used when you have something happening and you have multiple people or things reacting to it. Cross cut. This is similar to the cutaway but more frequent. This is just when the edit goes back and forth between locations. Usually used for either scenes containing a phone call or when something happens in locations which affect calls. Jump cut. This is when an editor cuts between two shots by the cameras in the same position.
Envy Adams, no more! I'm distressed.
This is usually done by having the camera stay in the same position of the room and with objects staying in the same position, except for the actors are in different positions and wearing different clothes to show the passage of time. Match cut. This is when a shot changes to another, but the second shot starts with an appearance which matches the ending of the shot prior. Transitions. Transitions are done to keep the viewer interested between scene changes. Fade in, fade out. When a shot dissolves to black, or when a shot begins from dissolving out of black. This is used to have a simple ending to a scene.
I'll leave you alone forever now. Thanks.
Dissolves. This is when you have one shot blend into another. This means that for a moment, both shots are on screen. Similar to a match cut, this is
Citizen
done
Kane.
to show the passage of time. Smash cut. These are abrupt endings to scenes. Wipe. This is very simple. The shot wipes to reveal a new scene.
Star Wars is the best.
George Lucas used a lot of wipes in his Star Wars films. Invisible cuts. Used to make a scene look like it's one long take, but actually it's split up into many. For example, I want to see the entire film Birdman look like it's one long shot, but of course it couldn't be. Let's look at a scene where Michael Keaton runs through Times Square. This scene not only begins with an invisible cut, but also includes the invisible cut in this scene is here. You probably missed it, but that's the point. Invisible cuts can also be hidden in whip pans, where you can quickly change in the movement of the camera.
Same thing with the movie 1917.
Audio transitions. These are done to make the transition from one scene to another seem smooth. L cut. When the audio from the current shot is carried along into the next shot.
Fry. Fry.
J cut. When the audio from the next scene starts before the scene begins, so you can hear the scene before it begins. Once you've mastered these transitions, you'll be able to combine them and use them that way. One filmmaker who's really good at using these are Edgar Wright, who you'll probably know for making the Conan trilogy. And if you're lucky, you'll have seen Scott Pilgrim too. Now I hope you're understanding.
Alright, so let's introduce Casablanca. Casablanca was directed by Michael Curtis. It stars Humphrey Bogart, Ingrid Bergman, Paul Henri, and Claude Rains. It's set during World War II in Vichy-controlled Morocco. It was shot entirely in studios. It was not, they didn't go to Morocco, they didn't go to Casablanca. Obviously in 1942, there's a lot going on in Europe. The last line, Louis, I think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship, was actually added after the film was over. They wanted a better way to kind of resolve the plot and end the movie, so they dubbed the voices afterwards. It did all right at the box office. It did win 3 Oscars and was nominated for 5 more. It won for Best Picture, Best Director, and Best Adapted Screenplay. It's some of the best acting ever of all time in a film. It was named the best screenplay of all time by the Writers Guild of America in 2006. In fact, there's a musical or Broadway play about the writing of this screenplay of Casablanca. Roger Ebert said that Citizen Kane is greater, but Casablanca is more loved. Harvard shows this every week, every year for finals week, just kind of have a rolling loop somewhere on the campus. I don't know, I'm not smart enough to go to Harvard. There were 2 sequels in book form and several attempts to make a TV show out of it. They all failed. It is symbolic, though. This movie is set, I think, December 5th, 1941, so just several days before Pearl Harbor, and it's kind of, it came out in 42, so America had joined World War II, but this is kind of capturing how World War II was before the United States had joined, and they were indifferent to the Nazis marching all over this place. The American Film Institute is the third greatest movie of all time, #1 love story, 37th most heart-pounding film, and the 32nd most inspiring movie. It was rated #2 overall in 1997. Humphrey Bogart was voted the greatest male film legend of all time. And there's a lot of male film legends, so that's pretty high praise for him. His character, Rick Blaine, was voted the #4 greatest movie hero. Here's Looking at You, Kid, #5 greatest movie quote. Louis, I think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship, is Number 20, Play It, Sam, Play It as Time Goes By. Number 28, Round Up the Usual Suspects is number 32, which is also the name of a movie now, The Usual Suspects. We'll Always Have Paris is 43. And then my favorite of all the gin joints and all the towns and all the world, She Walks Into Mine, number 67. The song As Time Goes By is the second greatest American movie music song. As you can see with this number of well-written lines, it's a tremendous screenplay. It's really well written, well done, well acted. On Rotten Tomatoes, give it a 97%. They Shoot Pictures, don't they? It's number 37. Michael Curtis is the 62nd greatest director. It is on the AMC film site greatest film list. It's on the Time magazine list. Entertainment Weekly had it the third greatest movie of all time. IMDb is number 32 among the fans in their top 250 with an average fan rating of 8.6. And the British rated it 84 for the critics, and I guess the directors did not rate it. It has a big influence on Indiana Jones, if you like that, and maybe a little bit on James Bond. So, Casablanca, I hope you enjoy it.